Hello, good morning, Philippines, and good day, people of the world. So, last time we stopped from here. As you can see from your browser, we have there a label for our debugging purposes. So we have here the job, and then whatever the value is, and then the ID, and whatever the value that could get from the request method. Meaning, if we click any value from here, because we're doing editing last time, so when we were doing that, once we click this, it should get the as you can remember, it should get the value from our database, whatever the ID value of this particular record, of course including the last name, first name, which we just concatenated here and we made it full name. The same thing with the contact number, a separate field name. So we have actually 1, 2, 3, and the ID. So 4 fields in our database, and specifically in our contacts table. So again, if I put the mouse over here, as you can see here on this side, we have here the job equals edit. That is actually just our choice, the variable job, URL variable job, and we're considering that the plan for this specific link is for editing. By the way, that is a user defined, or it depends on the programmer on how you will define it. And we have the ampersand because it separates the URL variable to the next one. So you can have many URL variables there as needed, although this is not recommended that you should have everything there, because it has also a maximum limit. But by the way, it's just a variable that would handle only not so many things. Okay, so actually we only need the ID, okay, and job value. So when we click this one again, just to refresh the one that we did last time, when we click this one, edit, as you can see from here, it changes the value. So meaning to say, it's dynamic and interactive already. So again, although this is just a very simple application, but what we're trying to show here, or to demonstrate here, is that we could do the dynamic thing, meaning we're manipulating the database, our records from the database, and we could change the entire content from here without modifying the source codes. Okay, once it is done, once it is developed, once it is finished, or if you are already finished with your scripting or doing the program, then this simple application or system will already work, will already function smoothly or completely. Okay, so going back here, when we click the edit link, what we're trying to do is to show the values from here, the first name, which is Maria, last name Clara here, and then the contact number, the same thing. Or if we want, or if we're planning to edit any of the existing records, because this is editing and then saving. Okay, let's go back to our source codes. As you can see from our editor, from our source code, we are printing or echoing here the value of the job, which is this one, this variable, and we got the value from here. So again, this variable is the one that we indicated here, this one. So whatever the value of this, which by this time is edit, then it could be fetched, it could be gotten from here. Okay, you could get the value from here. And then this one, the get ID here, meaning this variable, in order to pass into this variable within this part, it came from here, this one. Again, if you are, or if you will be using more than one URL variable, because we call this as URL variable. So if it's URL variable automatic, that's get method. That's why we use get, because there is also post and session for the session variables. But we are not going to discuss it right now. Okay. So again, don't forget about the ampersand if in case you have still other URL variables. Let's say if you have another variable, you can specify first here and then the next variable equal, something like that. Okay, it should be before the single apostrophe or single quote, because this one is the entire ahref value. Okay, we use double quote because we are concatenating string. Okay, and the same thing with the grouping method or logic. So this one is the opening, this is the end. This one is the opening for this one. This is the closing. We opened it here and we close it here, something like that. It just happened that we did not do that as a one line statement, although it could be a single liner or one line statement from here, because this echo command is just a single statement from here going to here. That's why we only have one semicolon here, because this is a single statement. It just happened that inside we have a lot of concatenations, and we make it we do it this way. We have many lines here and some indentions for us to be able to easily identify and trace our tags. Okay, so again, never mind about this, we're done with this. This is the delete contact. So going back here, if we have already the value, or if we got already the values from here, the next thing that we need to know, we need to do is that we're going to have a condition now if the job is editing. So how are we going to do that? Let's say if $job equals edit, and then what are we going to do? We are going to fetch the value, or to search that particular record to our contacts table, and so that we could display that, because our target is to display that going back to the text boxes, 3 text box that we have. Okay, and in order to do that, we will have here the dollar, let's say rs contact, to search for the contact, and then equals, okay, so equals mysqli, because this is mysqli underscore query, because this is how we do the to execute a query or a statement, SQL statement. So again, before we forget, we should establish a connection or point to the specific database server. Okay, and then $con, and this time we're going to find for that specific record, select asterisk from contacts, because that is our table name, but this time we will be using the where clause. So the where clause for us to find the specific record only, where id is equal to $id, because if we put one here, that is static, it will always returns the first, or the record which has an id equals 1. Okay, so it should be $id to make it dynamic or flexible, whatever the value of the id, or whatever the whichever line is being clicked by the user, it would automatically get the id and its corresponding row or record. from our table. Okay, so once we have that already, and I think it's already good, it's syntactically correct. So here, the next thing to do is, since we are not going to, or we're not expecting multiple records or more than one record to be returned, because they have unique IDs, meaning to say only one record will be returned from this statement. So we are not going to use any looping statement. Instead, only an if condition to test if there is really a value. And if there is really a value, we will pass it to the variable, let's say row contact equals mysqli fetch array. So we used this before on our previous discussions relating to this topic. And our argument inside, or parameter inside, will be that variable on the preceding line, rs contact result set or row set or record set contact. Again, this is just a variable. You can use rsc or just contact or whatever. But again, what I'm trying to say is that if you're going to make a variable, it should be something brief but descriptive to what you wanna define or declare. Okay, so let's put begin and end. So that's automatic, and as you can see, we have some indentions here for us to easily know that this begin or curly brace as begin for our entire if condition ends here, something like that. So this is a nested if. Okay, so if it has a value and it will be assigned to row contact, or will be passed to the row contact, meaning to say we can already get the value from our contacts, this table, from our contacts table. Okay, now what we need to do is to use some variables that we could use here. Okay, when we want to display some values here. Okay. So let's say let $fn as our first name, and in order to get that value from the specific row, so row contact, and then of course, because this is the field name from our table, so we will be using that, and then we will just copy this to make it to make the encoding faster. Anyway, the same logic. So we have here the ln for the last name. Okay, so we have here the last one, the contact number. We could just use contact, no, I think. And then here contact underscore number, because I think that's the correct spelling that we used from there. Anyway, let's go back to the browser first. I will save this first. Let's go back to the browser first and check if we use the correct field names, just to make it sure. Okay, I will open the database. Okay, okay, so as you can see from here, this is the test database that we use, and we have only one table this time. So we have the contacts table. As you can see from here, we have the ID, the last name, last underscore name, first underscore name, contact underscore number, and these are the existing records that we have. So meaning to say, whatever on the data from this table or database, it is reflected there. And later, okay, we're done already with saving. This automatically increases or accumulates records depending on the process or the users are doing. Okay, going back here and to our source code, because we're not yet done with that part. Okay, going back to our source code, so we have now values for this one, and because we will be using that somewhere here, we need to initialize the value of this variables before the editing, and we could initialize the value of first name so that it would be recognized, because otherwise these variables will be local for this part, okay, because it's within the begin end of this one. So let's initialize the value. Fn equals blank semicolon $ln equals actually empty string. We call that empty string. So not this one, because meaning to say that's not an empty string, that's a single space, okay, so that's different. So contact number or contact no, because that's the one that we used, okay, something like that. And then okay, it will be as it goes inside. If the job equals edit, then these things will be done or will be processed by our program, and then until such time here or on this part that these variables will be assigned by these values, okay. So if we already have that value, actually we can check first here. Let's say we can print first, just another way of debugging before you finally put that inside the text box. So we can have another print here or echo for, let's say, last name, and then or first name space last name, and then let's say for the contact number, let's say $contact no, okay, something like that. Although you can also make that instead of something like this. Where's my cursor? Something like this, and then single space, and then some, and then here, and then double quote, and then concatenate, and you don't need this. But the first one that I did, it's also working because we don't have something like a single quote inside, so there it could be done that way, and I think it's clean to it's easily to understand and debug. Or we can also put here something like that. So this is just a label. Actually, even if we don't have this, could also be like that. But the multiple spaces here will be ignored because only in HTML only one space will be considered. Okay. So if we save that, and let's go back to the browser, and okay, we click first to save, and let's go back to the browser. And if we refresh this, or if we click let's say Tony Regondola, see, so we have our job edit, and then ID equals 4 because this has different ID. Okay. Again, the ID value here doesn't equate or doesn't mean that this numbers here, because that these are just our counters, okay, on this column. So the internal ID actually is the ID from here. So for Tony Regondola, it has an ID of 4. Okay. Going back here, if I click Maria Clara and then click edit, okay, so ID equals 2, and then our next thing, as you can see on the next line, so we have here the Maria Clara 4567, and if we click Juan de la Cruz, we have Juan de la Cruz 888. See, so meaning to say this is dynamic, and it changes. Okay, this value changes. Then the next thing that we are planning to do is to finally put these values inside this text box for editing. Okay. uh, okay, so let's go back to the source code. So if that is our plan, we could comment this out, I think, and instead of printing it there, we can add another property or attribute of an input field. Let's say value equals, and then we will put whatever the value that we could get from those variables. So this is for first name, so we will insert a PHP scriptlet, so either echo or print echo $fn for the first name, okay, and then semicolon to terminate the statement, okay, and this one to terminate the scriptlet, okay. So again, inside the double quote, this one and this one, we have there the PHP script. So actually what it does is it to echo or to display the value of the fn, but you cannot assign the echo, or you cannot use the echo command if you're not going to put it inside the PHP tag, because that is a PHP command, okay. And we can just copy this and paste it here, and just replace it by with ln, and for the contact number, let's paste it here, and we use the contact no field name, okay. So I think finally we can already display that. Okay, let's save this. So once it is saved, let's go back to the browser, and if we check this, if we click this again, Maria Clara, see, so Tony Regondola, Juan de la Cruz, so it changes the value here, okay. Let's say, yeah. Okay, so what's the next thing that we need to do? If we click the save contact, this must be updated, okay. So either we can retain or use the same button, or we can put another button here for updating. Either way will do, but of course we will be doing some tweaks so that we could achieve the goal, okay. So let's go back to the source code, okay. So now we have that, and for a moment, so let's check this out. We have now those values, and then once we click the submit button, but this is input type equals submit, so what we're going to do is we will do some tricks here. We can make this as update contact instead of save contact, but so that so that it will still work for save contact and updating, as we're going to add the update functionality. We can pass this value into a default value, because by default it's just saving contact, meaning to say we are just saving new contact. So that's the anticipation or assumption, okay. So I will remove it from here, and initially we're going to assign the value for our button. Let's say $CMD equals okay, and then so that's our default value. So we can just echo here, we can print here php echo and then cmd. So that's our command button, something like that. But if we click the edit link, then it will go inside this process. We will change the value of command button. So instead of that, we will make it as cmd equals cmd equals, of course, update contact, something like that. So it will become update contact, and from here that would be save contact if we don't have the job equals edit. Okay, so I think we could put here on our else here, else. So if it's just a single statement, we don't need to put a begin and end curly brace, so something like this. And we can also do that even single line, because again, for only single statement, otherwise it would have a problem with your logic, although it will still work because it's syntactically correct, but there will be a problem with your logic. I could explain that later as we go along. Okay, so okay, by this time, again, if the value of your job is edit, so the command button value there will become update contact. Otherwise, which we do not usually click the edit link, it will be always save contact. Okay, so what's the purpose of that? Because somewhere here after that process, if we find out that the cmd value is equal to let's say update contact, okay, update contact, because if it's save contact, we don't have problem with this, because it will just be redirected to the form action, which is save contact.php. It's another PHP file. It just happened that what we're doing is we are going to implement this editing and updating within the view contacts. We make it as one file. That's why we're making some tweaks here, or some twist for our and tricks for our source code or script. Okay, going back here. So if we have that update contact, so this time we are going to implement here the execute the process for what do you call this, for updating. So we will be using MySQL query again. Okay, so MySQLi query, and let's execute the updating. So the update statement is just very simple also. It's just update, and then update from or update table name. So update table name contacts, okay, and set, okay, what are we going to update? The first name equals the $fn. No, it should be, okay, I'll just put here something like this, and then last name equals empty string, because later we will update that, and then contact number contact number. Okay, and then once you set that, there should be a where clause condition where ID equals $ID. Okay, so update contact, set first name, whatever the value that we're going to pass here, the last name, and then the contact number, and where ID equals ID. But we are going to get the value. If you still remember, I will open the other source code. We have there last time the save contact. Okay, so as you can see from here, before we insert into contacts, because this is for adding new record, we should have to get also the values from our text box. So we have 3 text boxes there. So we're going to get that first before we could finally use that here as values for insertion, because this is the syntax for insert into statement. Okay, but we can copy this so that we don't need to type this again. We can copy that portion here, somewhere here, and we're just going to do this on updating contact. Okay, so that's why we will put this inside the if condition. So we have here the fn, the same variable that we use here, so that our text box also would retain the values that we have updated. Okay, if there are changes made. So from here, okay, the same name, because this form fields, the values from these form fields are the one that we're referring to, or we are getting to for our updating. Because imagine, once we click the edit button, all the values from the table for that specific row will be placed here. Okay, will be placed here. So that's why it appears on our form. And then once you do some modifications when it is already there, when it is being saved, what you are referring to, or what particular objects that you are referencing or you are getting are these objects. Okay, that's why that is we use this txt prefix variables. Okay, because this is also a variable name or a field name, not a field name but a form field name. Okay. Okay, going back here, we could already assign here the $fn. We will use single quote because that's the value from that will be a string value. So we're expecting a string value. $ln, oops. $ln, and then this one should not be contact no, because this refers to the field name, and we use their contact number. And for the variable, it could be contact no, because we use this one. Yeah, so the same. Okay, and for our form field, okay, so that's correct. Okay, so I think this will work already. Let's pass this to our $q variable, or whatever variable that you want to use. So if $q, meaning if that is successful, we will echo a message. Let's say echo changes are record is already updated. Okay, record is already updated. Or changes has been made, or whatever message that you want to display. And after this, okay, we could. Okay, we already commented out this one. So let's just remove this. Okay, so finally this is good, I think. But okay. So let's save this one and try this. By the way, okay, it's already variable here. Okay, going back to our browser. So from here, let's try to start from the very start. Okay, from the very beginning. Okay, so from here, initially we don't have values because initially we just want to display the form field and the current records from our table contacts. Okay, if I click Maria Clara and I click edit, oops, oh, values here. Okay, we don't have values here. So something wrong with what we've done. But as you can see from here, it becomes update contact. Okay. So let's go back to our source code and review if what happened. Okay, so from here, once we click that, we click the edit, and then it becomes update contact. So if that is the case, I think we need to put this inside this one. Okay, so we don't need to use this condition if this is update contact, but if we are going to click the button, for a moment, I think so. At first we have these values, and then when we click the edit button, it will become update. That's right, but values from there were replaced. Okay, so we're just going to do this once it is already clicked. So if that is the case, update contact. Okay, so from here values become okay, so at first we don't need this. If we're going to use one button, we need to do some manipulation from our JavaScript, but this time I'm discouraging you to make some JavaScript first because it will complicate the codes. Well, it's okay. We will use we will add a little JavaScript here, a bit of JavaScript. Okay, so from here, instead of type submit, we will use button. Okay, and then okay, let's say CMD. Okay, and we have here on click. We will add on click here. On click equals let's say JavaScript do save. Okay, okay, and we will comment this out first. Okay, okay, and then we will add JavaScript here, maybe somewhere here after the title. Okay, so script type equals or let's say language JavaScript. So this is the traditional JavaScript first. We will not be using the jQuery or any of the JavaScript frameworks that exist. And then function, I think we could use the with document that. So what is the form name here? No form name, so we can just specify form 0, or we can to make it clear to you. Let's say we have here the name equals FRM contacts or contact, and then here we have the FRM contact. Okay, so from here if CMD, what's the variable of that? Save. Okay, CMD save. If CMD save, if CMD save that value is equal to, let's say, save contact, okay, it will be redirected to so let's say action equals this one, save contact. So actually we can remove it from here and put it here. And else if update contact, so if it's update contact, then we will redirect it here. Okay, the same action. So view contact.php. So we can put some begin end here because we will be adding other lines or some more lines. Okay, and then submit everything. Okay, so we have the view contact because view contacts rather because this is view contacts. So we have view contacts here, and then okay, once we're here, we could already get the values from here, and we could specify also here some, let's say view contacts.php, and let's say we have here again the job. Let's copy this one. Job, but this time it should be update. Okay, and the ID would be whatever the ID that we're going to pass from this function. By the way, we need to put function here, do save. Okay, and begin and okay, begin and so do save or whatever function name, so that is user defined because that's the one that we used here. On click JavaScript do save. Okay, as you can see from here, so this is the event and this is the functioning. Okay, so from here we have already the do save ID, and then we need to pass a value for the ID. So the ID that we're going to use is whatever value that okay, we could just put here do save and then assign the $ID because I think we used the $ID there. $ID, yeah, this one, $ID. So we get it from there, so we will use it here, but we need to have some PHP tag, echo ID, and then something like this. Okay, so do save and whatever the value of the ID. Okay, so once it is passed there on our function, so we should have here a variable here, let's say fnid or whatever variable name for your JavaScript. This time this is already a JavaScript, so you could concatenate here the fnid, so whatever the value of the ID. So anyway, I will be explaining all these things as we go along. It just happened that we started from the general concept of the entire journey of web development. Although I'm not saying that this is the entire summary of the topic of all the languages, but in essence, I mean logically, this is how it works. Okay, but of course it will differ on the implementation and on the commands or language that the programmer will be using. Okay, so going back here, let's try this first. Just continue to follow and understand, and you can just get back to the source codes to review. Okay, now we have this condition. If it is save contact, it will go to the save contact. That's the action. And if its value is update contact, it will have this kind of functions. Okay, So now let's check again the this part. So again, if it's editing, it will go here and then it will become update contact, and from here we could have this condition. Okay, so it's still edit. Okay, so maybe inside this part. Okay, so here we could have a condition of let's say if we have there, we declare the job update. Okay, so if finally no, we cannot put inside here because that is for editing. So this is correct. If not CMD, but if job equals update or update contact, okay, because that is the value here. So if job equals update, so okay, we will get the value from the first name, last name. Okay, and I think this is good. Okay, let's remove the comment here. Okay, let's try again. Let's go back to the browser, save, and then let's check the browser. Okay, so from here we will start from the very beginning again. We will start fresh. Okay, so let's click the Maria Clara. Okay, so it appears here again, and let's say if we want to edit this or her contact number, let's make it 5678. Okay, and then update contact. Okay, oops, no error, but it did not reflect here. This should be 5678. Okay, let's check to the database. Okay, so from here it's not also updating, so there is a problem with our update. Okay, let's check the source code again. Okay, so from here when it becomes update, it goes here. Okay, txtfn ln and then contact number. Okay, and then meaning to say we don't have the value for job. Job supposed to be is update. When we click the save, it should become update. Else if CMD value is update contact, so update contact, so if it's update contact, it will become action is view contacts and then job equals update and ID. To save FNID. Maybe what we need to do by this time is to instead of submitting this, let's alert these values because I think it's not giving the correct value. Okay, let's go back to the browser. As you could also observe from here, there is no value for job and ID, meaning to say we are not getting the value after clicking the update contact here. Okay, let's try again. If we click the Maria Clara, so it has edit here and the IDs too, and values from that table were fetched, and button became update contact. So let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then if I click update contact, there should be an alert or prompt message. So we have here, okay, this is correct, job equals update and ID equals 2, that's correct. So what's the problem? Okay, let's go back to the source code. Okay, let's remove this, and then after submitting it, okay, because we only have these values. If I click update, okay, txtfn, txtln, and the new value for txt contact, no. Okay, so we have here this one and this one. Update contacts, update contacts. Okay, update table name, comma, set the first value, the next value, and then the condition. Separated by comma. What's the problem? Okay, we will display the statement. Okay. So instead of this, I will comment this out. Okay. And let's check if we're getting these values, or let's try to echo this statement. Let's check if there's a problem with this. Okay, so echo update contact. So let's see if we're creating or making a correct statement. So save, and then let's go back to the browser. Okay, and then from here, okay, let's just click the Maria Clara. Oops. Because it's already editing, so let's start fresh. No value already. Okay, because view contacts.php. Okay, let's check. Okay, so from here, there's an error. Okay, let's try again. Okay, refresh. Okay, let's click the edit. Okay, so we have that value. Let's say if you make that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, click the update. Oh, So the statement is not displaying, meaning to say it did not go there. Okay, it did not proceed to our statement inside the if update. Okay, let's check again the source code. So what I'm trying to say is that this one is not displayed when we refresh or when we click the update contact. Supposedly it will execute this, or this process should be done. Okay, so we have a problem with our dollar job value. So dollar job get job. Okay, when we click the edit, we have the job edit, but if we click the update contact, okay, so there is a problem, I think, with the JavaScript. Okay, so if cmd save value, if it is update contact, okay, we don't have the value there already. So we can just assign a another hidden field instead of this. Okay, input type equals hidden, name equals job. Okay, and then instead of this, the same thing with the ID. Okay, okay, so okay, we have now the job and the ID. Or even if we remove this one, we cut this one. Okay, so here we have the job dot value equals update, and ID dot value. Okay, and then here okay, we don't need to concatenate that. Okay, so ID dot value, job dot value. Okay, okay, and then here okay, so if job equals get job, otherwise if dollar job, or here if dollar get job. Okay. Yeah. And for ID, we have the dollar ID. Okay. Let's try this first before we do other modifications. Okay. Save this one. And then let's go back to the browser. And then, okay, let's click the Maria Clara and do some modifications for 5678. And then if we click update contact, okay, so we already have the value for the update and 2 as the ID, and this is statements, and I think this is correct statement, but we're not yet executing this because we commented it out. Okay, so if it's Toner Gondola, if we click Toner Gondola and then update contact, see, so it becomes like this. And for the 888 Juan de la Cruz, and yeah, we have the value here. If you click the update, okay, but if we're going to refresh this, okay, it doesn't appear the changes here because we haven't yet executed the final command. Okay, so let's go back to the source code and finalize the execution. Let's remove the comment. Okay. Okay, so let's save this one. Let's save this one and remove this one. That is just for testing or debugging. Okay, save again, and then let's go back to the browser. Okay, let's start fresh. Okay, review contacts.php. As you can observe, no values and save contact by default because the assumption of this page is for you to be able to enter or add new contacts or just view the existing contacts. Okay, since our topic for today is about editing and updating, at first you will click edit to choose the specific record. Let's say Maria Clara, and let's make it 45678. And then if we click update contact, okay, so it's not yet updated. Okay, let's check again because supposed to be this will become 45678. Okay, let's go back to the source code. Supposed to be, it should echo this value. Record is already updated. It goes here. Update contact, set first name equals fn. What's the problem with this? It's already the same. Okay, let's comment this out again. Okay, we'll do some debugging. Okay, when we comment this out and we save this, and let's try to view this again. Okay, click edit 45678 and then update. So this is the statement. Let's try to check this statement. Let's try to execute that. Edit inline and then paste it here. Update contact. So let us see if this could be executed successfully. So we're trying to test it directly to the database. Okay, if this has an error or if this is already correct. Okay, and then go. One row affected, and then let's browse the table. Okay, so no problem with our statement. But how come that? Okay. We forgot again to. Okay. We forgot again to put the database connection here, or to point it to the database server, something like this. Okay, let's try again. Let's go back to the browser, and from here, okay, let's start fresh. From here, click the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and let's just make it 5, 6, 7, 8, and click the update. So record is already updated. Okay, so if we look at the database, if we refresh this, see, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the same thing if we add another value from Juan de la Cruz, let's say 888 88888, something like that, and click the update. Record is already updated and changes already reflected here. Okay, so that's it for now, and we did some debugging already, because to be honest with you, it's been so many years when I was doing this kind of codes, because by this time I'm already using different language, and although I'm still using PHP, but I've been using frameworks for more than 1 decade. So when I first made scripts like this, that was way back 2004, when I started to learn PHP Classic or PHP Core. And then eventually when I worked to other companies, IT companies, we used different frameworks, although still PHP. And then eventually I also learned many other programming languages or web programming languages. Okay, so again, do not be overwhelmed with the information that I am sharing with you, or with those scripts or codes. By this time, I would advise you to just absorb the idea, the logic, just follow the flow of the logic that we're doing, because eventually on our succeeding discussions, we will start from the very simple. That's why next meeting or next discussion, that would be tomorrow, you have to prepare your desktop or laptop, because it will be difficult for you to do some programming using your cell phone. Okay, especially if you're debugging that, like what we did today. So this would be challenging but very exciting, especially if you want to explore new ideas or new things in web development, because by this time there were already a lot of users or using web applications, mobile and web applications. So it's better if you have an understanding with this. Okay, again, that's all for now, and I'll see you next time. And before I end this session, uh, I will display again for a few minutes the source code so that you could review it, okay?
Miles above, I'm miles above you. Miles above you. No one can touch me now. I'm just flying by. Yeah, I'm just flying by. Away from them. And no one can see me now. I'm miles above you. Don't care what they're seeing below, 'cause I'm miles above. I'm miles above you. Miles above you. I've been waiting for the world to spin my way. I've been waiting for a glance at the sun. And I've been waiting for the world to spin my way. I've been waiting for a chance, and I think it's finally come. 'Cause after all, I don't care what they do, and I don't care what they know, and I don't care what they say about me now. No one can touch me now. I'm just flying by. Yeah, I'm just flying by. Away from them. And no one can see me now. I'm miles above you. Don't care what they're seeing below, 'cause I'm miles above.
Okay, that's all for now, and see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Philippine time. I mean, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Philippine time. Thank you.